Are you a mom looking for a career in real estate? Well, today we are going to be talking about 9 different types of real estate careers that you could choose. I'm your host, Brayden McKee, a boy mom of two, and I have been an agent for 7.5 years. And now I am bringing you marketing and business strategies as a modern mom in real estate. So grab a nice coffee and join me for this week's episode of the Modern Real Estate Mama podcast. Before we get started talking about the different careers that you could choose as a mom in real estate, I want to remind you that I have a free guide of different ways to name your Facebook group, and I even have a separate guide for how to start building and growing a community Facebook group. This can be a great brand building asset and a way for you to generate leads, generate relationships, and grow your email list. So check the show notes and the description to grab your copy of either of those guides to help you with your community building marketing strategies. Okay, let's get into different careers that you could get into as a mom in the real estate industry. So, first of all, I think the obvious one would be a real estate agent. So, you could choose to be a real estate agent. And I'm going to start with 4 roles that I'm going to say this before we get into real estate agent is that these are going to be 4 roles that are really going to be requiring you to be full time. So if you are looking for something part time, these first 4 are probably not going to be a good fit unless you are just find the perfect situation or you are okay just with lower production, like as an agent. So you can obviously choose to be a real estate agent. Now, if you sign on with a brokerage and you can choose how much work you are doing, but of course, if you are going to be full time, that's going to be a different strategy overall. And we have tons of marketing episodes and more coming on this podcast about marketing yourself and the different strategies. But if you're going to be a part time agent, you have to be considerate of the fact that you're probably going to do less deals or that you're going to have to be with a brokerage that's going to be okay with that. Now, a couple of different agent roles that you could choose is you could go to work for a builder, which is going to be a pretty strict schedule. You're not going to have much flexibility. You won't be able to set your own appointments, and it's going to be a lot of nights, evenings, weekends, holidays. It's late when I'm recording this, so forgive me of my faux pas when I'm talking. You could be a resale agent. You could get into property management, which is a little bit different than a traditional agent role, or you could go into commercial real estate or industrial real estate. I don't know much about those, but if you are interested in those and you guys want to hear somebody on the podcast to talk about being a commercial real estate agent and getting into property management, let me know. You can always message me on the Modern Real Estate Mama Instagram or in our community Facebook group. So that is being a real estate agent. Now, when you think about getting into real estate, I think most people go straight to being an agent, but you could also be a lender. So if you want to get in on the mortgage side of the business, this could be something that you absolutely could do. Now, my understanding is that the lender pay structure is quite different, and I don't claim to know exactly, but I know some of my lender partners before have had like base salaries and then they earn commission on top of that. But the commission is really delayed. I don't quite know, but this is something that you could choose. But again, you're probably going to have to be full time as a lender in order to, if you're going to choose that as your career path within the real estate industry. The next one is that you could work on the escrow side. So you could become an escrow officer or an escrow officer assistant, or you could be a title rep where you are working and building relationships for the title company. With agents and lenders to bring more business into that title company. So, those are 4 of the more traditional roles. Now, there are a lot of roles within the corporate side of many of these brokerages, mortgage companies, and the title companies where you could get a traditional 9 to 5 and be in a supporting role in anything from marketing to administration to um, agent support, things like that. So if you want to work, a corporate job as a mom in the real estate industry, and you don't want to have to worry about getting your own business, there are a lot of corporate 9 to 5 style jobs. And I think there's probably some part-time jobs as well. Okay, let's get into the part-time jobs you can do as a real estate or as a mom in the real estate industry. So the first thing that you could do is you could be a real estate assistant or a transaction coordinator. Some teams and agents, this may be one and the same. Some of them, these are going to be two separate roles, but that's okay. It doesn't matter for us. Um, this would be assisting with whatever that agent or team needs, or handling paperwork and compliance for the transactions. So in this case, you are most likely going to have to be a licensed agent in that state for that team. So just know that you're probably going to have to hold an active real estate license, but you could very well be part-time with this. If you want to be part-time but gain your own clientele and be really part-time and have a little bit more control over your schedule, you can be licensed, hang your license with the brokerage, and then you can go and build relationships and then build up your clientele, and you can choose, how many clients you have, and you'll probably learn over time how much work you need, or how many agent relationships you need to have the amount of business that you want and the amount of clients and transactions, because most of the time transaction coordinators or real estate assistants are getting paid a set fee after every closing or at every closing. Okay, next up on the list is a listings coordinator. Again, depending on the team that you're with, this could be a full-time job, but you could market this as you're doing it on your own within your brokerage. You're probably going to need to choose a bigger brokerage unless you have a lot of top producers or listing agents in a smaller brokerage office. But again, consider if you want to do this part-time or if you want to be full-time. But this would be the person managing the listings on the back end side. So you're not getting the listings, but you are coordinating everything from, appointments and offers and communication with agents and showings and everything like that, managing the timeline. So this could be much more of an admin and back end role where you could be working from home or part time in the office, and you could market this as a service where you could be a contract worker. You're not, set to one specific team, but you are the listings coordinator whenever, your clients get listings. So this could be another part time role for sure. Okay, so then the next idea that I had for a career in real estate that you don't necessarily need to be licensed for, but you will probably want to have a good understanding of the industry, is you can be a social media manager. So you can manage a couple of clients and their social media accounts, anything from TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, LinkedIn, Google profile, and you can do their social media marketing for them. So if you like social media, this could be a really great thing for you. And if you're very creative and you like to stay on top of social media and marketing trends, being a social media manager can definitely be a part-time gig. And if you get the right clients and, they're able to continue to keep you on, this could be a long-term career path for you, because social media is becoming more and more a part of so many people's lives, and so many businesses need social media to be integrated into their overall marketing strategy if they don't have it already. So, this is something that you could market yourself as a social media manager for real estate professionals. You could work also with lenders, maybe even title companies, and manage their social medias, create content for them, and keep them active and in front of their community and their ideal clients. In a similar note, or on a similar note, is you could be a virtual assistant. Now, there's a couple of different kinds of virtual assistants. Like, you could specialize, you could be general, you could, focus more on the marketing side, you could focus more on the admin side. you can, kind of have a variation. You could have other areas where you do kind of like the bookkeeping and accounting and things like that. So you could be a virtual assistant and keep a couple of clients on, a monthly retainer or bill hourly. And this could be something that's very part-time for you, depending on how much you charge and if you're charging hourly or packages, where you can definitely make this part-time and still be able to create a career. And honestly, I think being a virtual assistant, there are so many agents that really do need support, even if just for a couple of hours a week, that you could easily create monthly packages around this, help agents who are just really needing support. And then last but not least is to be a showing assistant. Um, this is something where if you don't really want to be doing the marketing, you don't want to be getting the clients, and you don't want to go like through negotiations or contract, all the different points of the contract. You just like to show houses. Being a showing assistant for a few agents or a team that has a lot of volume could keep you pretty busy. And you just would have to kind of establish, I think, your availability with them up front if you're wanting this to be part-time, and let them know like when you absolutely aren't available. Like if you are like, I have to keep showings between 12 to 3 and then 4 to 6 p.m. because I have to pick up my kids from school. Like you just absolutely need to be upfront about that. But there's also multiple apps coming out that allow you to show as needed, where people like put in requests. It's kind of like Uber, but for showings. We actually had Rachel from Locked on a very early episode of the podcast. And so if you want to go back and listen to that, because Locked is one of those, and it's basically like, you can pick up open houses, you can pick up showings and get paid per house or, per showing. And it can be something that if you use a service like that, you can definitely keep it as flexible as you want and just, pick up a couple of showings here or there, or maybe just, a few a week if that's what you want to do. I wanted to do this episode because there are so many posts that I see in Facebook groups about moms asking, if real estate is the right choice for them. And typically it's coming from the perspective of, I'm getting my real estate license and I just want to know, like, can I make it as a real estate agent, or is it the right fit for me? And before you decide if you should even get your license, I think that you should consider all of the different all of the different options and things that are available to you to create a business. Being a real estate agent is really hard. It it takes time to build a clientele. Now, some people, they start and they just build quickly, or they have a really big influence in their community or in their friend group, and it they pick up clients quicker than others. But for many people, they do really need to have patience and put the time in. But you do need to really make yourself available to your clients. It's not as flexible as it is always advertised, and I just think that's the truth. Like, you realize sometimes, like, not that you should be bending at the whim of every single client wish, but there are certain times when like you need to show a house or you need to negotiate a contract, and you can't really say no, because if you don't present that contract or you don't present the counteroffer, and it expires, like that's not good on you. So there is some timeliness involved in a lot of aspects of real estate, which means that some of the flexibility is lacking unless you have a team to support you. Now, even sometimes when you build a team, when you're in a growth phase, there are times when just you and the team are busy, you're swamped. And so you just have to consider all of the perspectives. I think that moms make amazing real estate agents because you know how to balance um, different things going on. You know how to kind of work under chaotic environments and at times. And sometimes your buyers and sellers are kind of like your toddlers when they throw tantrums. And so moms have a lot of the skills that are necessary to have great client relationships and establish rapport and relationship building with their clients and within their community. But sometimes what people are looking for within their career choice is not actually being an agent. And that's just the first thing people go to. So if you're listening to this and you are in real estate school or you are uh, considering getting your license, really consider what your goals are and if it makes the most sense for you to become an agent or not. I'm not trying to discourage you from becoming an agent. If you want to become an agent and you believe in yourself and you're willing to put in the work, you can absolutely do it. There are people that I read these posts and they're just sometimes the context that they provide of what they're looking for in a career path is actually not being a real estate agent. And so that's why I wanted to give this list of different careers within real estate. There's so many more that I didn't talk about that there's so many ways like you could support agents and teams and brokerages. There are, real estate photographers and companies that go and put out open house signs for people to do these mega open houses. Like there's so many ways you could do a business and be self-employed and choose how much work you do or have more control over your income. At least in terms of like how much of you get to market yourself and build the business that you want, right? So, if you are looking for a career in real estate, I just think that you should look at all of the options and really consider and weigh what is going to be the best fit for you. And if you decide, you know what, being a full time real estate agent maybe is not actually what I'm looking for, maybe look into being a transaction coordinator, a social media manager, a VA, a showing assistant, and or a listings coordinator. Like there's so much that you can do here within the real estate industry and still create a business and be self-employed, and you're still within an industry that is amazing and can be challenging, but what industry isn't, right? So that is the list of careers that you can choose in real estate, both full-time and part-time roles. And I hope that this is helpful for you if you are considering getting into the real estate industry or becoming a licensed agent as you're listening to this. Now, if you want more support from other moms that are in real estate, um, go ahead and join us in our Facebook group, The Modern Real Estate Mama. It's going to be linked in the show notes. And if you enjoyed this episode or any other episode, will you do me a quick favor and just go rate us with 5 stars real quick? And if you're on Apple, can you just leave like a line or two? That would be such a blessing because that is how the podcast platforms know to push out the podcast. That's how we get discovered by other moms in the real estate industry that are looking for support and community marketing ideas, and they just want to connect with good information to help them in their career in real estate. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Don't forget to go grab those resources, and I will talk to you next week on another episode of the Modern Real Estate Mama podcast.